I usually play with my hair in front of my face because I'm shy, but it kind of blocks me off to the rest of the world while I'm playing, and I can kind of internalize it more.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now. So, you guys are not just having a picnic on a beach, you are actually in the middle of a Canadian tour. So let's just start there right now. How's it going? How has the show been so far?
Really good.
Yeah, we played in London last night, and it was a Thursday, and there was a pretty good turnout for a Thursday, so...
Yeah, can't complain.
Definitely.
We did a lot of, like, French-Canadian dates in the last couple weeks, and then we're doing another chunk in a month, more just around Ontario.
Awesome. Yeah, to clarify for everybody watching this, London, Ontario.
Yeah, not like, London, England.
Yeah, exactly.
The second best London, eh?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been to the other second best London. Amazing.
I'm sure there's plenty of Londons all over, but awesome. No, great. And you guys are right now on the road to, I mean, I'm almost going to say like promote the reset of the band, or that's at least how it feels to me. So I'll be completely straightforward here. Sure, like everybody, I saw a certain social media post of the band, but I really only discovered you guys as a band with this new Live in the Hammer album. And that album seems to be, as I then dig into everything a little bit more, as a bit of exactly that, like, hey, we're kind of like wrapping up what we've done so far. This is who we are right now, and we're now going to pivot, or maybe not pivoted, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's time for, you know, Witchrot 2.0, if you will. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because Nito, who's playing bass with us, and Pat, who's playing keys with us, neither of them were on the Live in the Hammer album. But it is kind of Live in the Hammer was what we did before this new kind of lineup, and although we're playing the same songs, they're just added with more embellishments and whatnot till the next record comes out.
Yeah, and that post was like 4 years ago or something. So we actually had a lot of like pivots and releases and different lineups, and it's kind of been an ever evolving lineup of the band as members had come and go, and then this is like where we've landed, and this is like a really good lineup that we've found. So it's really nice to like have that and feel like it's solid now moving forward with what, like, you know, I think this is it now.
This release kind of comes in, it almost feels that, especially in, weirdly enough, North America and then Scandinavia, there's this, the last couple of years, it almost feels like a golden age, if you will, for like psychedelic doom. What's your take on, you know, being right in the thick of it in the scene? What's your take on this? I mean, it's almost like a sound that never really went away. It's a little bit more popular again now than maybe it was 10 years ago. But let's be just, I mean, you guys look fantastic for your age, but I'm going to assume that, like myself, you were not around in the late 60s. So what is it that you think has that continued appeal of this music?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's always been, what do you call it? Little brushes of that music in all types of genres, like the 60s or whatever decade. There's always somebody who's interested in it. Just because in the 80s, you know, if they were playing 80s music doesn't mean they were inspired by, you know, not music from the 60s, right?
Right.
So it's like people still listen to In the Gata de Vida, and we're like, this is a jam, right?
Right.
So,
no, I don't think it'll ever go away.
Yeah, like you said, it didn't go away, and the style is so cool, and you know, all the, I don't know, the colors of album covers and movies and whatnot.
People are always
always
going to want to
great
wear
live.
leather jackets, right?
Yeah, that's it,
Just makes
right?
it feel
Yeah.
cool.
Just because it was a thing, like a staple of the 50s, doesn't mean it's gonna go away. So
It's
Yeah.
always great, like for a live experience too, which is I think what keeps people like going to shows. Like,
yeah,
It's heavy and it's melodic. There's good lyrics.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to sing along to. It's easy to groove out to. It makes you feel badass. I mean, there's such a good appeal to the psychedelic doom genre, right?
And
never gonna go
you
away.
say something good there. Like it's both, it's heavy and it's melodic. You know, if you look at a lot of bands these days, they sometimes go. I sometimes compare it to like the Ontario craft beer scene, where people sometimes go a little overboard in one specific kind. You know, like you had this whole rush of like, let's get the most hoppy IPA out there, or let's get the craziest sour. But it's kind of cool when breweries get it right to kind of balance that out. And what I like about you guys, especially sound wise on this Live in the Hammer album, is there is that. There is the fuzziness, if you will, from an Acid King or a Temptress and stuff like that we see now.
Right.
But you also have that level of depth and melody that bands from the Shocking Blue to the Devil's Blood brought to the table, right? So there's a nice mix. Is that something when you are writing or even evolving these songs with new members? I'm sure that you play a song different now than 5 years ago. Is that something that you kind of... Is that purely organic, or do you proactively think about like, hey, let's not fall into the trap of making the hoppiest IPA out there? What's that thinking process like for the band?
Yeah, definitely don't want to make the hoppiest IPA. That's for sure. But I mean, I don't think we think about that much when it comes to changing up the sound with new members, because it sounds pretty. It is very organic.
yeah,
Like,
it's pretty organic.
like anything that's different. Like when Pat will play kind of the parts that he's doing, it's kind of like, well, this is kind of what. But we didn't really think about it. It's just kind of what came out, you know.
Yeah,
So,
when you find people who are all on the same page, and then you just get together and collaborate, and you like talk about what you like and what you don't like, and it's an open conversation. It just kind of, the sound evolves organically for sure.
mhm.
Yeah.
And then when we're practicing, it'll always be like, all right, we're playing a bit too fast. We should slow down. You know?
That's always the main critique of every. We gotta slow it down. I think playing an album like at half speed maybe is the way to go.
Obviously, there's some people there that have been part of the band for a long time. There's newer members that you just said, you know, Pat in the back there who recently joined for keys. Like, very, you know, different people. You mentioned like, oh, everybody likes to wear a leather jacket. That's true. There's lots of different kinds of leather jackets. Do people bring very different elements to the music, or do you find that you're all kind of on the same wavelength to begin with?
Both.
Yeah, I think both.
Different
That's a
members
good way to
definitely
put it.
bring different elements to it. That's like what's good about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like speaking for myself personally as the bass, I knew I had my parts to play, and as long as I play them well and I play them right, and it's gonna sound good. My goal is to just bring as much energy to the live shows as I possibly can, and then moving forward, you know, come up with some good riffs and creations for the new album moving forward. But I know with Pat, I saw the band Witchrot a bunch of times before I was even in the band. That's probably why I'm in the band now. But with Pat, there wasn't a key player, so there's a lot more freedom. And when we're practicing, it's like,
Well,
yo, that sounded
I
really
played
good.
keys, but it wasn't really. I was kind of dropping off.
That's it.
It wasn't
When-
a full-time key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more important for Leah, and I think it was the best way to do it is to just be a front woman. And that's
I'd
more comfortable
off
doing
in the
that
crowd, and then I'd be like, "Oh fuck, I have a key part. I have to like run back on stage and like
when
play
it's like
these
the,
like notes." Like,
the full-time duty is just
yeah.
you know, Pat's got it on lock, right? So
No, that, and it adds so much more to the sound because he has like the freedom and flexibility to add so much more to the sound, which we always wanted. But like, you know, I was always focusing on being a front person and wanting to like lean into that. So sometimes I sacrificed like some of that attention on stage to the keys for sure. So this is like the best thing we could have done for that.
Okay, so Pat, how does it feel that there's 3 people in front of you talking about you, with you just sitting in the back?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I was making noises. And they're like, oh, he's great, he's great. Half the time I'm not even plugged in.
The sound guy, like, yeah, I can hear you in the monitors, and no one else can.
As much as you guys come across as a laid-back group of people enjoying the good life on a beautiful April day here in Ontario, I'm going to assume that a lot of thought still goes into all the details surrounding it. And a clear example of that is all the artwork you guys use for posters and for so on. It comes across as a true passion project. Like, how do you guys as a 5-piece organize that? Is it one person's job here in the band to take care of artwork, another person booking shows? Like, how do you guys divide and conquer?
Pete has handled most of it, to be honest, but all of the different artwork for all of our singles and albums has all come from different artists and different sources and kind of come about in different ways.
Sort of artists that we like or artists that we know, and then things that come together from that, you know, like a lot of shows are helped out with Buzzed and Buzz, our record label, and you know, they'll get some artists that they like, and then, oh, that artist was sweet, we should get them to do this, and yada yada, you know what I mean? Like all these connections of that. And half the time someone's like, this is the poster for this, and I'm like, oh wow, that's super cool, who did that? And,
yeah, you know, or like, like, let's try something else.
Yeah. So
but yeah,
I mean, when it comes to show posters and stuff like that, sometimes I love it and sometimes I'm just whatever, we'll use it because that's what we were given. But you know, when it comes to the art and image of things that you're actually releasing, I'm fairly particular, and then, you know, it's sometimes a struggle. But I mean, it's cool because you can find people from all over the world and get someone who doesn't even speak English to make some art for you.
Yeah.
But then communicating like, I want art. This to be read in this corner. It's like, I feel like I've upset a couple people because I'm a bit more particular. Anyways,
now that you mentioned people from all over the world, and maybe they don't even, you know Canada as well or speak the language, you know, fun little fact, you know, in the press release for Live in the Hammer, you know, the PR team says like, oh yeah, you know, recording in the Hammer, which is Hamilton in Ontario, and was described as the grease strap of Ontario. Now, you know, myself living in Toronto, I know that nicknames like the armpit or the crotch of Ontario are maybe even more common. Have you like had talking about people, different cultures and what have you? Did you have you received like weird questions about grease strap, hammer? What is it about? Like, help for the people watching this channel, which the most people that watch this channel are either in the United States, in Latin America, or in Europe. There's definitely Canadian viewers, but for everybody outside of Ontario, I'll let any one of you give your best description of Hamilton.
Hamilton is the Steel City of Ontario, and back when they lost a lot of jobs to China, and you know, it's like kind of like a bunch of, you know, empty factories and stuff, and sure, it's come back, and I almost am like, I kind of miss the old Hamilton to an extent because it was greasy, and I remember going to football games and there's, you know, just guys pissing in sinks, and you know, it was greasy, it was nasty, and like, you're a little kid, and my dad's like, don't worry about it, it's fine, you know. and you know, there's something special about it, right? And there's still a bit of grease to it, but they try to polish it up. But, you know,
can't polish a turd.
You can't polish a turd, but I mean that in the best sense, because you know, I'm from Hamilton and I love Hamilton.
Yeah,
you know,
there is a Hamiltonian pride for sure. Even if it rains and the smells come out.
You know, Toronto, everywhere you see these people with shirts that say or Toronto is home, and in Hamilton, I see shirts that say Hamilton is hell. Like that is spot on, you know. And it's not like they want to leave. It's cool.
Yeah.
Now, Nick, we haven't heard from you just yet. Where people are talking about, we have to slow down or maybe have to change the sound a little bit. As the drummer, especially now doing these live shows, and the live album kicked off with 2 very long tracks. People put the drummer literally in the back, sometimes also metaphorically in the back. But for, let's be honest, a psychedelic doom band, a drummer is one of the most important elements to a band. So what is that like for you, having to deal with these 4 crazy people around you and making sure everybody keeps time?
What is it like to deal with their personalities?
The way that you asked me that question says maybe no. But let's just what is it like? You play a pivotal role in the band from a music perspective, but the question you just asked me makes me feel like maybe you also play an important role in the non-musical side of the band to keep everything together. What's life like for you in Witchrot?
It's great. It's a lot of fun. Everyone's got a good head on their shoulders. Basically, but more on the musical thing. Yeah, it does require a little of intention. Like, I have to consciously slow down a lot because it's like when you're on stage, the adrenaline starts flowing. You generally naturally tend to speed up as a drummer. Maybe it's nervousness or excitement, but so yeah, I do kind of have to I usually play with my hair in front of my face because I'm shy, but it kind of blocks me off to the rest of the world while I'm playing, and I can kind of internalize it more.
Nice.
I'm not really paying attention to my surroundings too much.
Awesome.
Because sometimes you'll be playing and loving it, and then you look out and there's a dude just watching you like this. Cut you off.
Last night, the show we played, there was a big window right by the drum.
Oh yeah.
Right by where the drummer was, to the outside.
People were peeking in.
People were walking by and just sticking their head in right to the drummer.
Nick is an example of someone who has added a lot of there's been a lot of change in the sound for the better. When he became my drummer, he did a lot of the writings on our full length album, and really added his own flair, and the drums completely changed the feel of the sound of the song.
100%.
So.
I mean, originally I always wanted Nick to be our drummer, and then he wasn't really. I don't think he was really too excited to be in
5 bands.
in another band. But after when Simon, our original drummer, quit,
he did.
I think that has been talked about enough. I don't want to bother you too much about tweets from 5 years ago or Facebook posts from 5 years ago.
It's had a funny little resurgence though, which is I don't know why.
Every few weeks it pops up somewhere. I
guess
it's still going. It's still going. I mean, I assume that that you guys are printing T-shirts with that on it or something like that.
No, definitely not.
Hey, you know what? If the money was right, we'd do it.
There you go. Awesome. To wrap us up, you guys, I already mentioned more shows being planned, but I think it was Nick who said, or Nido, that already mentioned the wonderful words next album. So. With everybody watching this, what can you share at this point? What's coming for Witchrot?
We hope to get in the studio the end of the year, at least around then. Kind of more of what we've been doing, but more of that. I'm pretty excited to keep playing the new stuff. I'd like to. It's gonna be fun to play shows with the new songs, incorporating some old stuff and whatever. But the new stuff is what I'm really excited about.
We've been kind of talking about leaning more into the heavier, slower side of the project as well.
Yeah, that's important.
Sludgier aspects of it.
Awesome.
Sound wise,
all right.
kind of think
got
we all wanna
got
go
a few
in.
riffs in the boiler room, and you know we're just can't wait to work them out in full, and then in the studio just kind of flesh it out completely, right? That's it.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, we'll look forward to that. In the meantime, we can catch you on the road. You're going to be playing a lot. And obviously, if not, then we can just put on the Live at the Hammer album or in the Hammer album. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to let you
Thank
enjoy those
you.
beers on the beach before you
Yeah.
have to
Definitely.
rush off again.
Sorry
So
we couldn't
enjoy. Have a
drink
good
beers in
night.
person, but
You know, next time we'll make it work.
Next
Have fun
time for
tonight,
sure.
and you know, congratulations again on a really fun sort of live release with Live in the Hammer, because I thought it was a really fun.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, bud. We'll see ya.
Cheers.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.